Trans Am, America's road racing series. TA2 in the spotlight today, the epitome of American road racing with pure muscle and pure power made in the USA. Today, 38 drivers attack the rolling hills of North Georgia. We're at Road Atlanta for TA2 on the CBS Sports Network. Welcome to Road Atlanta. We're in Brazelton, Georgia for coverage of Trans Am, America's road racing series. Today, it's the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. NASCAR star Michael McDowell will join me for the call in a couple of moments. Shea Adam has our coverage today down on pit road. We've already set records this weekend in Trans Am racing. More than 75 cars entered across all three categories, Trans Am 3, and today we'll showcase Trans Am 2 for you. American Muscle, Mustangs, Camaros, and Dodge Challengers will battle it out. So far this season, it's been a Cameron Lawrence show. Running for Mike Miller's team, Cameron's won the first two races of the year at Sebring, which we showed you earlier, and then at Homestead in Florida just a couple of weeks ago. Today, young Lawrence will go for 3 consecutive victories. But there are a lot of great drivers hoping to knock him off the podium. Lawrence Loshak, Gar Robinson, a host of others. Let's find out more from the Trans Am 2 paddock. Here's Shea.
Cameron Lawrence, two-time TA2 champion. This time at Road Atlanta, you're not starting from the front of the grid, starting from second. What's it going to take to get up to the front?
Yeah, we're just going to try to run a nice, clean, consistent race. We didn't start on pole last year, but was able to make it to the front before we got taken out while we were in the lead. So hopefully it doesn't happen again this year. We expect a little more from the competitors, and there's a little better competition. So we're just hoping for a good, clean race with not too much drama, but you never know. There's a lot of fast cars, so maybe a last lap pass or something. But it'll be fun as long as we don't get taken out again.
Adam Andretti was so quick in qualifying yesterday. How much of a concern is that for you?
Not much. He can usually pull out a lap or two, but that's usually about it. He slides the car around a lot, usually on the edge or a little bit out of control, so not hugely worried about it. We've dealt with him before in the past. Lime Rock last year, we let him lead half the race, just dogging him, and it just shows that our car has a little more left at the end, and it's a little bit of driving, a little bit of car, but we're really not too worried. It's 100 miles, and he hasn't really shown that he can make it there, so we'll see. We'll push him, and he's going to have to step it up, but we've won the championship the last 2 years, so we're going to try to do it 3 times in a row.
All right, getting set to go here at Road Atlanta, Michael McDowell. Lawrence is the points leader over Robinson, Loshak, Kevin Poitras, and Shane Lewis. Lawrence has a big lead.
Yeah, Cameron's really been dominating this field the first half of the season, but a lot of fast cars here at Road Atlanta. Adam Andretti was on the pole by 6/10, so I look to see him to have a fast car.
Of course, the great veteran Tony Abe, who's won Trans Am championships, he'll be starting a little bit back in the field from where we might have expected. He qualified 14th in that 70 car. Jason Kennedy, all the other stars strapping in here. Good crowd on hand at Road Atlanta as well today as we get set to go downstairs to Shea.
The best place to start any race is from pole, and for this TA2 race, Adam Andretti gets that privilege. Adam, you're driving a Ford this weekend, and you've put it on the front row. Ford has a good history with your family.
Yeah, we're really blessed in our family with the Blue Oval. Pretty much all Mario's major accomplishments that you see, that he did them with Ford power or in a Ford. Daytona 500, Indy 500, all well documented. Formula One World Championship. Michael's one IndyCar championship was in a Ford. My brother's first NASCAR win was in a Ford. So yeah, a pretty special brand to us. And first time sitting in a Ford in the Trans Am Series, we're on the pole. Set a new track record, so that's exciting time. Now we have to back it up with a good 100 miles and stay in this position.
You've got that Dodge in your rearview mirror for this start of the race. How much of a threat is Cameron Lawrence?
Cameron's always a threat. As long as he's shown up at the racetrack, he's an absolute threat. And 100% got a lot of respect for Cameron as a driver, and obviously his accomplishments. And he's having a career year. He's a Daytona 24-hour champ. He's defending this title with some pretty good style right now. But we proved last year he's not unbeatable, and we're here to beat him. And that's everyone is. We got 38 cars in this field after him, pretty much. And he's made that bet for himself, and I think he's okay with that.
Adam Andretti, John's brother, Mario's nephew, part of that great family legacy. He's your pole sitter today in that silver and black 44 from the ECC team. Cameron Lawrence in that blue Dodge will line up alongside Michael McDowell. We've got a great field of drivers just in these first 4 rows.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of experience. You got Tony Buffamani, Shane Lewis, Tony Ave, all very experienced veteran Trans Am racers. It's going to be a great show at Road Atlanta.
Dylan McCavern will start 4th. He's a quick young Canadian. Loshak, a great amateur racer. Gar Robinson out of San Antonio, the son of former Trans Am competitor George. Row 5, Steve Kent, Kyle Marcelli. J.J. Haley starts 11th, young driver, barely 16 years of age. Won a pole in the ARCA Racing Series a year ago, running NASCAR K&N Easton trucks this year. A.J. Henriksen will start back in the 9th row with Mike McGahern and John Atwell in row 10. Raudebusch and Stevens, Jason Kennedy, and Tom West rounding out your first 24 starters. We've got 38 cars altogether. Joe Napoleon, his son Justin, together in the 13th row. Ricky Sanders out of Florida, Ron Keith out of Kansas, Jeff Van Leerup and Alan Malarchik, Nick Hazelwood, and Steven Lustig. Here's your final starters. The veteran Bruce Nesbitt, his first time back in Trans Am in a long time. Tim Gray from Ryan Industries, they'll sponsor one of our events midsummer. He lines up deep in the field as well. 24 Chevrolets, a dozen Fords, and those 2 Mike Miller Dodges. One of those Lawrence's car, they've been very hard to beat this year, Michael.
Those Dodgers have been very fast all season long.
Getting set to go green, coming down the hill at Road Atlanta on the backside, under the bridge, down the long hill to the front straightaway. We're on board on the Braun Ability Chevrolet of J.J. Haley, the 99 car, starting back in row 6 today. We'll give you a lot of good looks there. Tony Buffamani in the 34 starts inside row number 2. He expects to challenge for the win today.
Oh, this is a great onboard shot. You see the elevations going down the hill here, coming to the green flag.
Adam Andretti on the pole in the 44. First time in that Mustang for Adam. And alongside the defending champ, Cameron Lawrence. Tony Ave lurking back there as well. Here we go, 100 miles in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge, and trouble right away. One car gets turned as they come through the green flag and dumped into the inside wall. The caution will lay. That's a violent wreck. Couple of cars caught up in that. The other Dodge gets through, but we've got some heavy damage in this field.
3-4 wide coming to the green there. A lot of cars heading into turn 1. I cannot believe that more cars were not involved in that accident. Kyle was turned dead sideways in front of the entire field.
We go local yellow in that area. We're racing at the moment up through the S's here. Dylan McCavern trying to get close to the lead, but this one will take a while to clean up as the wreckers come off of pit road. We can hear them slowing down. Got a couple of looks at this as the cars came to the green flag. On board the Braun Ability 99 of J.J. Haley. See if we can see what happens here as they accelerate. There's Marcelli in the 96. Looks like he moved over and the 07 had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think he thought he had a gap there, was going to shoot to the inside. Just was not enough room there and got turned sideways.
Veteran Bob Stretch, a former series champion, his look at it as well as Marcelli goes by into the wall. One more view. This is Brad Raudebusch is on board.
And as you can see, you have to think
Whoa.
extremely fast there. Nothing he could do. Car was coming back up the track. It's very unfortunate for Brad.
So Raudebusch, his race lasts about 100 yards past the start-finish line, as does Kyle Marcelli's. Field under caution. Lap 1 will be a caution lap. Adam Andretti will be your restart leader when we return.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. And by Foametix. If it isn't green in color, it isn't Foametix. That's how you know it's Foametix, the energy smart insulation solution.
Back under caution at Road Atlanta, field reforming for a restart. Welcoming back driver Kurt Roehrig. He's had some health challenges and he has a special sponsorship relation. Before the green, Shea Adams spoke to Kurt about his return to racing.
Kurt Roehrig making your return to racing, and you have a special sponsor on the car. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, about a year ago, I had to quit racing because I had become afflicted with Parkinson's disease. And after the Christmas time this year, I got deep brain stimulation, which is a brain surgery procedure by Medtronics in Minneapolis. And lo and behold, I came out here and tested 2 weeks ago, and I went faster than I ever did. So we're excited, and we're going to do some more racing.
Kurt, one of the good guys. Good to have him back in the series. Adam Andretti out of the final corner in the 44. He is your restart leader over the 34 of Tony Buffamante. Cameron Lawrence back there in third, and we're back underway.
And Cameron's making an early jump on Tony here, heading down into turn 1.
Adam Andretti, Buffamani, Lawrence in third, Dylan McCavern in fourth position, and then it's Shane Lewis in the 74 Ranch Resort 72 car sitting fifth.
Yeah, one of the greatest part about Rotoland is heading down these S's. It's very narrow, very fast. If you make a little bit of mistake, it can be very costly.
Now, we heard Cameron Lawrence, Michael McDowell in the pre-race coverage talk about Adam Andretti's driving style, sliding that car around. Maybe he'd be fast in the first half, but can he make it work all day long? Pretty smooth so far.
It's early in the run here. Adam's got a lot of speed, but like Cameron said, typically sliding the car around, getting the most out of those Hoosier tires, and in the long run, you can pay the price. And Cameron Lawrence does a very good job of managing these races and being fast when it counts.
Lawrence trying to get around Buffamani. We had a quick ride with Tony Buffamani there, who's second. Adam Andretti opening up a dozen car lengths, though, as they crest the hill on the backside of Road Atlanta.
Now on this back straightaway, one of the longest straightaways you have in racing, sets up a great braking, overtaking move down here. You can get a draft. The brake zone is so long headed down into the hill that it's a great place to pass.
Leader is still Andretti in the ECC 44, the 34 Buffamani second. Cameron Lawrence, Dylan McCavern right behind him, third and fourth. McCavern there in the gray 24 car. Robinson sitting fifth. He's a points contender this year, young Robinson is. Part of a racing family from Central Texas.
And what I love about this TA2 group is it's always so close to racing. It doesn't seem like you have breakaways. The racing's intense, it's fierce, not just for the lead, but all the way through the 38-car field.
This is the future of Trans Am racing right here. To have 38 cars entered at Road Atlanta, we expect similar entries throughout the season. We'll be bringing you TA2 individual races a lot of times over the course of this year. So many entries, Trans Am officials had to say, okay, guys, you get your own 100-mile muscle car challenge on a lot of these weekends, and really exciting. I think this is the future of this category of racing. Cameron Lawrence, the defending series champion, sitting third, taking his time here.
And one thing you heard with Cameron earlier in the show when we talked to him is that he has a lot of confidence. He knows what he needs to do. He has a good game plan going into the race, so I don't think we're going to see him force the issue so early on here.
Adam Andretti continues to lead. Buffamani there in the blue and white Mustang is second. That's Lawrence in the Mopar third. McCavern is fourth. And Shane Lewis is fifth. On board with Lewis up the backstretch at Road Atlanta. He's got Tony Abe in his rearview mirror.
And that's not a guy you want to see in your rearview mirror. Tony Abe, very aggressive racer, knows where to put the car. He's going to put the pressure on Shane.
Tony Abe, a constructor in the series as well, has built many of the front-running Trans Am machines. Next group of cars a little further back. Steve Kent Jr. in the 07. Lawrence Loshak in the Ray Bestas 5. And there's Gar Robinson, Shane Lewis's teammate, in the 74 Ranch Resort 74 cars. This group comes down the hill.
Yeah, good battles throughout the race right here. As you can see, that front group starting to stretch out a little bit.
Single file racing for 7th through 10th. Loshak putting a lot of pressure on Kent in the green 07. Young J.J. Haley back there in 10th in the Braun Ability 99. That's a Mike Cope car. Let's get on board Loshak's Ray Bestas Mustang.
What's really fun to watch here, just taking in the sights and the sound, but you see how much the back end of the cars are moving around and sliding. You can hear the tires squealing. It is really intense racing.
Narrower tires, of course, on these TA2 cars at about 550 horsepower. Buffamani under pressure. Lawrence on the outside takes second away.
Now that is a hard pass to pull off on the outside of turn 6. Not sure how Cameron pulled it off, but a great move.
That's a Dodge Hemi-powered Challenger, very fast race car for the defending series champ and the winner of the first couple of TA2 rounds here in 2015. Here comes Buffamani, though, right back up on his deck lid.
And Cameron defended the spot there, moved down, and it actually cost Tony another spot. So, you know, those are those situations where it's a gut instinct. You know, do I go for it? Do I give the guy a little bit of a tap for putting the block on me? Reserved there early in the race, got a lot of laps, made the right decision.
The dark gray 24, Canadian Dylan McCavern, rookie in the series. He's up to third spot. He was able to follow Lawrence around the other machine that they were passing. Here comes Shane Lewis, meantime. Tony Abe in that white Mustang. The 70 goes busting by on the inside. Wow, they've shuffled Buffamani way back.
Man, you lose your momentum just for a second, and they're there to pound. So, cost them 2 or 3 spots there. But like I said, this is a long race. You got to take care of your car, take care of your equipment. You know, you never know. With a 38-car field, we may see another caution and bunch this field up.
Adam Andretti continues to lead in the 44. Shane Lewis, great road racing veteran, making his first foray into Trans Am. and the former champ, Tony Ave, in the 70 car, trying to work his way by Shane. These two have battled a lot over the years.
What I love about Tony is he builds race cars, he works on race cars, but you can't keep him out of a race car. He has to drive something.
Heading up the backstretch here at Road Atlanta, Lewis in fourth in the 74 Ranch Resort machine, but Ave drafting him here. This is a great place to pass.
It is a great place to pass, and we're seeing a lot of defensive line. You know, Shane's running the inside, but he opens the door for Tony. And the thing about this is, it's okay once or twice. Somebody will give you that little bit if you block it. 3, 4 laps into it, you're battling hard, you start to lose your patience. So you got to be careful. You got to make those decisions very precise.
Tony Ave, one of the guys in Trans Am who's got the heaviest right foot you could possibly have in these cars. Shane Lewis, really a tactical, smooth driver, a guy who's raced all around the world with a lot of success. Here's Ave taking a look to the inside in one. I think he's got him. Tony Ave, wow, nice move.
Yeah, it's a great move. And I love the fact that you can hear the tires squealing. That is so cool.
Tony Buffamani, meantime, in the blue 34, started up in the front of the field, trying to get something going here and get himself back into contention. So Shane Lewis gives up a spot. Ave moves to fourth. Your leader is Adam Andretti. We'll be right back at Road Atlanta. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge here on the CBS Sports Network. I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside Shea Adam with our coverage on pit road today. Great battling at the front of the field. Leaders approaching some lap traffic as we hit the S's. Adam Andretti will move around the slower car, a little offline coming into the left-hander. Right behind him is Lawrence in the blue number 1.
And this battle has tightened up for the lead. Cameron running Adam down. Got an onboard shot here heading down into turn 5.
Adam Andretti's ECC team, he and A.J. Hendrickson. Here's Lawrence around the outside, heading to the backstretch. For the lead, Andretti gets squeezed off the road a little bit there.
Yeah, Adam was going for it. Went into the corner, locked up the rear brakes. That is the second time we've seen Cameron Lawrence pull off that outside pass. I have never seen that at Road Atlanta, but it's something that he has figured out.
Take another look at it here. On board with Tony Ave, you can see ahead. Wow, look at the brake lock up big time.
And that could have been bad. That could have been devastating for both of their races. Adam got in there a little bit hot trying to protect that lead.
Now we're listening in today on Adam Andretti's radio communications. Let's hear what he had to say.
A really hard time getting it to get engaged in the second gear on the downshift. It won't engage the second gear on the downshift.
So what we see there is what Adam was talking about. We got a full course caution, but just going back to what Adam said is he's having a hard time getting it down into second gear. That's why we saw that wheel lock up.
Meantime, trouble for Lawrence Loshak on the Ray Bestis drivetrain Mustang. He goes off into the kitty litter here. Looks like he just lost it, got away from it.
Yeah, hard to tell from that shot there. It does look like he got in a little deep, but there was a car there, so there could have been a little bit of contact with Gar Robinson.
We'll see from Robinson's onboard look. He looks to be well inside. Don't think there was any contact there.
No contact there. It just fighting hard, getting as deep into the brakes as you can, trying to protect that spot.
Safety car out. One of the Trans Am legends, Tommy Archer, winning driver in the past. He's here this weekend, but not racing due to a health scare. Shea talked to him earlier.
How are you doing?
Well, after we did the race at Sebring, I went to the Mayo Clinic and had a major surgery to remove a cancerous lymph node that was in my lower back. And so 6 weeks ago Tuesday, they took it out. And since then, I've been working out hard to get back in shape, and I'm glad to be back here at the track. Unfortunately, we won't have the new car out till Brainerd because they didn't know exactly how long it would take me to get better. But I'm ready to go now, but the car's not. So we'll be there at Brainerd.
Looking forward to seeing Tommy Archer. We will bring you coverage of the Brainerd event over July 4th weekend here on the CBS Sports Network. The Ryan Industries Trans Am 100. We'll have that one for you right here as part of our coverage in 2015. Green flag is back out. Field coming under the bridge, heading toward turn 1 behind Cameron Lawrence in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Shane Lewis, Gar Robinson trying to work their way to the front.
And this is the optimal time to make your passes. Everybody's bunched up, cold tires. It's very easy to make a mistake when you're on those cold tires, so you want to get as much as you can in these first few laps on a restart to get that track position.
Getting close to halfway, 38 laps is the distance, 100 miles today here at Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. And now Cameron Lawrence starting to stretch it out over Dylan McCavern. Meantime, we get on board with Texas veteran Bob Stretch. Trans Am 2 champion the first couple of years the category existed a few seasons back, returning with Canada's best race team in a Ford. He's back in 19th and goes a little, digs up a little turf here.
Yeah, got pushed a little bit wide coming down to the bottom of the S's. Good, hard, intense racing here on the restart. You see 2-3 wide. Not a lot of room to do that when you're going down those S's.
Up the back stretch, one of our Replay XD onboard looks for you there. J.J. Haley in that lead group of cars. An onboard view from Adam Andretti's 44 as he tries to find his way back to the point.
Yeah, Adam had to lead early on, broke his momentum there when Cameron got around him. We heard him talk about struggling with a gearbox issue, so not sure how much that's affected his performance.
You raced at Road Atlanta, Michael McDowell. How many second gear corners would there be here?
Unfortunately for Adam, a lot. You know, you probably have 3 or 4 corners that you're going to use second gear. But, you know, you just have to manage the problems that you have in the race car. You maybe use third gear. You're going to bog a little bit off the corner, but just managing it, because what happens is it doesn't fix itself. A problem's only going to get worse and worse.
Our three-dimensional services group running order, top of your screen. Ave fourth, Lewis and Buffamani rounding out the top 6. We'll show you the rest of the field as well as we get close to halfway. Dylan McCarron in the 24. They told me going into the season at Sebring, watch this kid. He's got a lot of speed, and that's a good race team. They struggled at Sebring. They've obviously learned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, putting the pressure on Cameron Lawrence all the way up to second place. A very good run for Dylan.
On board here with Shane Lewis in the 5th position in the 72. The 74 Range Resort team out of Central Texas. They're based in San Antonio. George Robinson, a longtime Trans Am and Grand Am veteran. One race is always a points contender. Out of the car now, just helping his son Gar. They brought in Shane Lewis as kind of a veteran presence on the team. I think Shane will be a guy who will watch for victories later in the year.
I definitely think we'll see Shane Lewis get the victory lane. But what I was watching on that onboard was Ave sliding that car all the way out.
In the 70, Tony Ave in the top 5, trying to close in on the leaders. Adam Andretti, meantime, back to the ECC on board in his Ford Mustang. Looking ahead at Dylan McCavern's 24. Race leader continues to be Lawrence up ahead of that blue Dodge.
Yeah, it's a great battle for the lead there. I was just listening to those downshifts, see if we could hear anything. It sounded like a clean downshift in the second, so maybe Adam will be able to be all right.
A little further back in the field, the other Mike Miller Mopar, that's the 11 of Joe Thomas, working his way by the 56. There's Stretch in the white Mustang, the CBRT entry, right in front of Ron Keith out of Kansas in the 25. He's been very strong the last couple of years, kind of struggling so far this year. In the middle of the sandwich, there's the 56. That's the main driver, Tom West. That's the Limerick Tree Lane Wine Mobile One Chevrolet Camaro as he tries to fight his way closer to the front of the field. Stretch in the 83, gaining some ground, getting his feet wet once again here at TA2. And this class has advanced a lot since the early days. Stretch winning the first couple of championships. Sitting out for a while, says, hey, I can't stand being away from Trans Am. So he hooks up with CBRT. They bring him their brand new Mustang, and they're starting to make some headway here. Lawrence is your leader. McCavern is second. Andretti, Ave, and Shane Lewis. We are halfway home at Road Atlanta.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Racing Electronics, #1 in race communications worldwide. And by Replay XD. The new Prime X is here. Record, replay.
Cameron Lawrence looking nice and smooth as he waves to a fellow competitor, leading the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Meantime, out of Azle, Texas, John Atwell in the 02 sustained some rear end damage. He goes off the course. Lead battle raging, heading up the hill. Now, moments ago, take a look at what happened to Shane Lewis as he was trying to get himself back into contention. A little bump and run with Tony Ave. Around he goes.
Yeah, Shane got in there a little deep, got into Tony, and instead of wrecking Tony, Shane sacrificed himself there, got spun around. Luckily did not get his teammate, Gary Robertson, who was right behind him.
Wow. Shane Lewis got into the back end. Ave a little squiggly as well as he exited the corner. Lewis pointed in the right direction. We'll see if he can refire, rejoin the battle. Guy Robinson picks it up. Meantime, the leaders put Steve Kent in the 07 a lap down. Third spot, Adam Andretti chasing Dylan McCavern. Tony Ave rides fourth. Guy Robinson now into 5th in the 74. Lewis's teammate, Buffamani, rolls 6th. Oh, Ave puts his left rear off into the grass.
And he did it at one of the most treacherous part of Road Atlanta. Very lucky to get away with that.
Coming down the hill to the final corner, Guy Robinson in the 74 takes advantage and gets by Ave for position heading into 1. As we ride with the former series champion in Trans Am, Tony Ave in his first foray this season into TA2 in one of those Lamers Ford Mustangs, doing a great job. But boy, that could have been everything for him today.
That was a very, very nice save. Like you know in racing, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
And Tony Ave may have used a little luck there to keep that car straight and off the wall. Foametix, meantime, in the 34 in the Best Line Superior Lubricants car, tried to get by him, couldn't do it. Bob Stretch, meantime, trying to work his way toward the top 10, back to 16th spot for the Texas veteran in his first start in the 83 car.
What's great about Trans Am racing, especially in the TA2 category, is we saw there a battle from 1st to 5th. Now we're here 15th, 16th spot, and there's battles throughout the racetrack.
For 14th, meanwhile, the other Dodge Challenger, Joe Stevens, out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and Justin Napoleon in the 90, the Turnkey Chevrolet. His dad racing with him as well, side by side into the final corner on the backside. Stretch with a look. Bob Stretch trying to see if he's got room to go to the inside, make it 3 wide here.
Now Bob Stretch, a veteran in Trans Am Series, playing that just right, waiting to see where they're going to go, where they're going to slide and end up and try to capitalize on those spots.
Thomas continuing to lead this battle, sitting 14th, Napoleon 15th, Stretch is 16th. Justin Napoleon out of Magnolia, Texas, the Turnkey Industries Comstate Bank Chevrolet.
Very, very late in the brakes and gets the pass pulled off if he can get it woed up. Almost lost control there. Great battle, great pass.
Justin Napoleon taking over 14th. Bob Stretch back there in 16th. The 56 car, part of that fight as well. Down through the final corner at Road Atlanta onto the main straightaway. You can see now some give up in these tires. In Trans Am racing, it's a 100-mile sprint. You don't stop unless you've got something wrong with the race car. You've got to manage your tires to be fast at the end.
And like you mentioned earlier, you know, this bias plies tire, it's 2 things that it does really well. One, you can slide it around and it has great recovery. But the more you slide it around, the quicker they fall off. Unlike a radial, it just doesn't recover as quick. But what it does for this TA2 group is it keeps the cost down. It keeps the car very friendly to drive where you can get away with that. And we got a battle for the lead.
Dylan McCavern in the Mustang rolling by Cameron Lawrence here. So McCavern takes over the top spot in the second half of this one. That's unfamiliar territory for the defending series champion. 2 for 2 in victories already this year.
Absolutely. We have not seen Cameron Lawrence challenged at the end of these races. So Dylan is doing something that nobody's done yet this season.
McCavern, though, trying to fight past the lapped car in a tough part of the racetrack, stays there, maintains, and starts to pull away from Lawrence.
Yeah, this is awesome stuff to see later in the race. You know, when you have a battle for the lead, it intensifies everything. And Cameron's thinking, okay, I got to take care of my equipment, take care of my tires. But when you get past, you just think, go, 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 I got to get that lead back.
Working lap 24 of 38, 14 to go in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Lawrence will have to try to chase down that Mustang of Dylan McCavern now. Andretti third and on the radio.
Have no rear grip. I'm out of rear grip.
So Michael McDowell, just as we were speculating, Adam Andretti may have run the rear tires off that car.
Yeah, and what he's talking about there is he's just lost all drive. The car's sliding around, and that's what happens when you abuse the tire.
So Adam Andretti with his hands full, trying to hang on to third position. On board here with Guy Robinson, the 74 Ranch Resort onboard camera, as he challenges Adam Andretti. Leader is still McCavern in the black 24. Cameron Lawrence in the Dodge, the 1 car, the defending champion in second. Now you got this battle between Ave, Tony Buffamati, who gave up a lot of ground early, but he's right there pressuring Ave now.
And Tony's done a great job of managing this race. Like you said, lost some momentum, lost some spots, but now he's challenging Tony Ave down into the brake zone.
Ave with some bodywork flapping in the left front corner of that car. Now, this is a guy who races snowmobiles. He's raced sprint cars, short track stock cars, everything with wheels, very successfully anywhere he goes. You can tell he uses up his race car.
Oh, absolutely. It's because he works on them, so he can do that. That car has a right rear damage, left front damage. He's getting everything he can out of that race car.
Tony Ave, Tony Buffamati fighting for position. Third belongs to Adam Andretti with shifter problems and now rear tires that may have gone away. Robinson right behind him in fourth. Ave is fifth, Buffamati sixth as the battle rages here at Road Atlanta. Good battling up front. Cameron Lawrence, the series champion and the points leader, shuffled back to second now as the fight for third rages on. Dylan McCavern is out front. 25 laps in the books in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Back at Road Atlanta, Brazelton, Georgia, the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Trans Am 2 in the spotlight today alongside NASCAR star Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Shea Adam with our coverage on pit road. We know who the players are at this point, Michael. As we get close to 10 laps remaining, Gar Robinson still putting pressure on Adam Andretti for third.
And that's all Gar has to do, is continue to apply pressure to Adam. Adam's struggling on rear grip. Now's the time to pounce.
And here he does, going down into the left-hander.
And just a classic overtake. Adam's fighting hard back, but Gar's got that spot.
If he can't get second gear, is that a corner you would need second gear to get in?
That is one of the corners you would need second gear. Also coming onto the front straightaway, you use second gear. So those are the corners that are very important, because you got to get a good shot off so that you can have top speed at the end of the straightaway.
Tony Buffalmatti in the Best Line Lubricants 34, that blue Mustang, trying to get room to get by Adam Andretti as well as they climb the hill out of one. Let's get on board the 34.
As you crest the top of the hill, this is where the transition starts to head down. It's going to be a great onboard, because we can watch Adam's car slide as you transition left to right. Those rear tires have fallen off. He's just holding on.
Our three-dimensional services group running order, top of your screen, working lap 26. Andretti, Buffalmatti, Ave, 4, 5, and 6 in the running order. Back on board with Adam Andretti as Gar Robinson starts to pull away. Adam was clearly holding up the 74.
Yeah, absolutely. Gar's already opened up 10, 15 car lengths lead, so Adam's just trying to manage his spots, get as much points as he can, but as you can tell, he's definitely struggling.
So Gar Robinson, Adam Andretti, Tony Buffalmatti, now Tony Ave struggling back there, on board with young J.J. Haley. Just about 16 years of age in that 99, the Brawnability Chevrolet, one of Mike Cope's cars. Good young shoot, terrific oval racer. Saw him take a pole at Elko Speedway last season in Minnesota here on the CBS Sports Network at an ARCA Racing Series event, running NASCAR K&N East and trucks. They'll only make 2 more Trans Am starts, but talked to him earlier. They're having a great time running this series. Hope to be back on a more full-time basis next year as he learns his craft.
JJ's doing a great job. You know, I think they need to ID him. Are you sure he's old enough to drive a race car?
I met him last year at Elko, and I thought, no, you're like in grade school, right? Because he's not very big either physically, but really knows how to wrestle one of these race cars. And to be a top 10 competitor in this Trans Am 2, this is the deep end of the road racing pool here when you've got guys like Ave and Adam Andretti, Cameron Lawrence, a great young talent, and Shane Lewis here. You're doing a lot to keep up with these guys.
Absolutely. It's a great training ground for him. Like you said, deep competition. And these aren't cars that are easy to drive. You have to work and hustle these cars. So for JJ, this is a great learning curve for him to be in the Trans Am Series.
Second place runner, Cameron Lawrence in that blue Dodge, the defending series champion, the one car from Mike Miller's team. Dylan McCavern worked his way by in that Ford, and he is your race leader. Back on board with Buffalmatti as he tries to close in now on Adam Andretti. If you're Adam Andretti, you got to be frustrated. First, a gearbox problem, and then you say, oh, I've lost my rear grip. Maybe because he overdrives the race car a little.
Well, Cameron Lawrence hit on it a little bit earlier in the show when we talked to him about how Adam has a lot of speed but works the tire very hard. And that's something that is challenging. When you're constantly 110%, you know, the car's just not going to take it throughout the entire race.
Up front, the 24 of Dylan McCavern, the 1 of Cameron Lawrence. Ford versus Dodge here in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. This event is unbelievable. The essence of Trans Am racing. And when Trans Am created this TA2 category a few years ago, I don't think they knew exactly how big this would become. 38 cars, an all-time record entry list. Obviously, our television coverage helping in that area. We're just so excited to be bringing you these events separate from TA3. Great racing in its own right, but man, this is just fantastic stuff. Bob Stretch here in the 83 out of Texas, the CBRT car, trying to work his way toward the top 15 in his return to the series.
Yeah, Bob's been doing a great job all day, just consistent, hitting his laps, hitting his marks. We got, about 10 laps to go here, and Bob has been working his way forward. He's kind of slowly, but making a steady progress.
Well, I think the storyline also is, here's a guy who said, man, I love what is happening with Trans Am. He won the first couple of TA2 titles. The technology has changed and improved quite a bit. It takes a while to get back up to speed. You can't just walk in the door and resume running at the front. You're with a different race team, and the cars have advanced a lot in the last couple of years.
And we got a battle for the lead. Cameron Lawrence is making a shot at it.
Tries to dive bomb on the 24 of McCavern. Can't get it done as they come up under the bridge, heading toward the front stretch.
Now, one thing that is going to come into play here is we have some lap traffic starting to play into this lead battle, and timing it is very critical.
Both the leaders swing around the lap machine. Here comes Gar Robinson. He's third now in the 74. Trying to close in on these two leaders. Got to be impressed with what Gar Robinson is getting done here today. He passed the nominal team leader, Shane Lewis, and is up in third spot. We'll be right back at Road Atlanta. back at Road Atlanta. Laps winding down in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. Alongside Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin, your two leaders. Dylan McCavern in the Ford, the 24, the UniFirst machine, and Cameron Lawrence in the Mopar Dodge, the defending champ, winner of the first two. Now, at Homestead, a race we did not broadcast a couple of months ago, McCavern and Lawrence fought it out for the win, and Lawrence prevailed there.
Well, you know, Cameron's used to being in this spot. He challenges for wins. He's won a lot of races. This is a new spot for Dylan, and it's hard. It's a lot of pressure to be leading and have that second-place car breathing down your throat, especially Cameron Lawrence. That's already won a handful of races this year. So this is a tough spot for Dylan to be in, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he can handle the pressure.
Two leaders lapping by the 65 of Alan Malarchik. He's from New Philadelphia, Ohio. The TNA Trucking 65. That's a Chevrolet Camaro. It's still McCavern through turn one, heading up toward the S's. And back on board with Tony Ave as he tries to reel in the 72 of Shane Lewis.
Now, if you remember earlier in this race, we saw Shane Lewis with a spin with Tony Ave. He's worked his way back up to the front.
Lewis on the brakes, heading into turn one. Ave really hammering that Mustang. As the leaders continue to navigate slower traffic, there's Guy Robinson, the 74 Ranch Resort 74. Oh, in trouble. Justin Napoleon in the 90. We watched him earlier as he ran in 14th position. He spins and goes off into the gravel trap outside the right-hander, leading up to the bridge.
And luckily was able to get it out of the gravel trap there, so we'll stay green.
That is hard to do. You can beat yourself in there pretty easily.
Oh, absolutely. And just getting into the braking zone. Coming up, just got in a little bit deep, trying to avoid the car in front there, and just got into the gravel trap.
If you're offline like that, you get the car unbalanced, it's pretty easy to go off.
Well, he had two choices there, run in the back of the 81 in front of him there, or you save both cars and head into the kitty litter.
Meantime, while this was going on, take a look at what Tony Ave's got going here. He's got a problem. Ave pulls the 70 off the racetrack at the entrance to the backstretch and shuts it off. So Tony Ave done for the day.
Yeah, Tony Ave was having a great race. We saw a lot of bodywork damage there. He was fighting hard, putting on a great show for the fans here at Road Atlanta. Unfortunately, won't make it to the end, but Tony Ave will be back and be putting on a show again.
Leaders continuing to work lap traffic as we get inside 10 to go. The 05 goes a lap down. It's still McCavern in the 24, Lawrence in the 1, Robinson in the 74 trying to make that same move, and now Lawrence putting heavy pressure on Dylan McCavern.
Wow, definitely applying the pressure here. Few laps from the end, battling for the lead. This is what you want to see in Trans Am racing.
And McCavern's car starting to slide around quite a bit as well. Those Bias Ply Hoosiers, they're a great race tire, but boy, you've really got to manage your rubber, your rear tires especially. These cars make enough horsepower, you got to be careful.
Yeah, just about 500 horsepower with these TA2 class, but it's still enough. Like you said, they're a real skinny tire. Hoosiers brought a really good tire here to Road Atlanta, but you can work them and slide them around. What's hard for Dylan right now is that he's navigating lap traffic. He's got Cameron breathing down his neck with a handful of laps trying to get that first victory. There's so much going on that this is a mental game. You got to hit your marks, not make any mistakes to get that checkered flag.
Leaders coming up the backstretch. Robinson back there in the white, orange, and blue machine, sitting in third spot on board with Lawrence. If you're a young driver like Dylan McCavern and you know that the defending champion, the guy who's won the first two, is right behind you, I guess it depends on the kind of driver you are. Do you feel that pressure, or do you just get the job done yourself?
Well, I feel the pressure for him sitting where I'm at right now, so I got to imagine he feels the pressure.
Working around Kurt Rohrig. We heard from him earlier in his series return in the 04 car. Leaders moving by Kurt. Great to have him back in the paddock. One of the most respected drivers of all. White flag over the leaders here at Road Atlanta.
Now, Dylan stretched out a 4 or 5 car length lead here coming to the white. It's going to be hard for Cameron to make that up, but he gets down into turn one extremely deep and cuts that deficit in half.
McCavern really sliding around in that Mustang. You can see him desperately trying to hang on as Lawrence applies pressure with his Mopar. Lawrence well within striking distance. We'll see what happens in the final trip around Road Atlanta.
Now this is a critical corner, getting off the S's here. You want to get a good shot down this straightaway. We saw Cameron pass 3 cars on the outside. Let's see if he can pull off that move again.
McCavern heading toward the final couple of corners, and here's Lawrence trying to dive bomb him at the entrance to the backstretch. McCavern keeps his foot in it. Whoa, McCavern sideways.
Wow.
Maybe Lawrence rubbed on him a little. Looks like he's got a problem.
Yeah, it looks like there wasn't contact there. You could kind of hear a few things, but they were racing hard. But whatever happened right there, the rear end is skewed. Dylan is going to go down in this brake zone and not know what this car is going to do.
Tough way to lose this one if that's how it plays out. Lawrence trying to elbow his way by, going into the left-hander, and he does. Cameron Lawrence with a problem, maybe a broken panhard bar, we don't know for sure. But he is on the gas trying to salvage second here.
He's doing a great job to hang on this race car.
Final corner, Gar Robinson smells blood in the water. Lawrence wins his third straight. Second spot will belong to Dylan McCavern, hanging on in front of Gar Robinson. Wow, what a finish.
I cannot believe that Dylan hung on to that car. I cannot explain to you how difficult it is to drive a car that has a broken rear end like that and not crash, still applying pressure to Cameron.
One more look at it here as Lawrence comes up on the inside of the 24. There's the bump.
You know, it's very hard to tell there. I would say that Cameron did not make contact with him. If it was ever so slightly. It's so hard to see it from that shot, but that was just good, hard racing.
And that failure on McCavern's car could have happened before all that. Not sure. Hard to tell. We'll try to find out. Lawrence, your winner. We'll talk to him next.
Trans Am Racing on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. And by Foametix. If it isn't green in color, it isn't Foametix. That's how you know it's Foametix, the energy smart insulation solution.
Back at Road Atlanta, the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge complete. Cameron Lawrence with a final lap pass on Dylan McCavern to get to victory lane. Here it is again. McCavern's car wounded. Lawrence able to elbow by, and he scoots to victory. Lawrence doing a great job. McCavern with his hands full, keeping that race car on the track.
That's unbelievable. Like I said, the fact that he was able to hold on to it is amazing. Unfortunate, Dylan had a great run going. It would have been awesome to see that last lap battle for the lead, which we did. But with the car wounded like that, he just had no fight left.
Dylan McCavern out of the race car, smiling, but he's got to be frustrated with the way this one ended up. Still, though, the Trans Am 2 paddock knows Dylan McCavern is a player. Shea Adam, meantime, with our winner.
Cameron Lawrence, 3 races, 3 wins in this series so far this year. You are proving to be the dominant force, but it looked like you were going to have to settle for second there for a while. How did you get the lead back?
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, Dylan, I've been telling everybody all season that if I'm worried about anyone the most, it's definitely Dylan. I've known him for a while now and coming up racing, but yeah, I thought I was going to have to settle for second. You know, some really good close racing. Dylan drove awesome, but smoke coming out of turn 9, coming on the back straight, and I was just praying that, you know, I don't want to see a friend, you know, break or anything, but it was just my lucky chance and lucky break, and I took advantage of it. And last lap, I told you guys kind of all weekend that it might come down to a last lap pass, and I wasn't sure if it was or not, but it did. And these guys just did awesome getting the car ready, and actually good, clean racing from everybody. So I'm really happy for the series and this race, and I mean, just happy for this win. This team is awesome.
And now you get to celebrate with some champagne and a nice shiny new trophy.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Add another one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like we said, there wasn't contact there at the end. Dylan had a mechanical failure, but what a great, hard, clean race. A battle throughout the Trans Am 2 category, but we see Cameron Lawrence come out on top.
Young J.J. Haley ends up 6th, a great run for him. Mike McGahern 11th in front of Joe Stevens, and the other Mopar, Justin Napoleon, comes home 13th despite the spin. Tony Ave with that late problem is scored 23rd in front of Tim Gray in 24th. Tony Cook, Nick Hazelwood, Joe Napoleon 29th, Joe Evan 30th, Ron Keith 31st. Not a good day for that team. Let's talk to the driver who finished second. Back downstairs to Shea.
What happened on that last lap?
Something in the front end broke. This coming out of 6, the steering wheel got real sideways. And then coming onto the back straightaway, it just completely lost it, and I was driving sideways down the back straightaway. I did everything I could to hold on, but still second place. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, Dylan did an unbelievable job holding on to that car. And what I like to see right now is Dylan is a legitimate contender for Cameron Lawrence.
Lawrence with a 30-point plus lead over Gar Robinson, Adam Andretti, and McCavern now up to 4th in the chase for the 3-Dimensional Services Group Trigon Trophy that'll go to our TA2 champion this season. What a great day of racing here at Road Atlanta in the Foametix Muscle Car Challenge. We'll have several of these TA2 only events for you on the CBS Sports Network as the season unfolds. It was wild early. Lawrence Loshak with the problem. We had that wreck coming to the green flag, coming under the green flag. Tony Ave having difficulties. Justin Napoleon battling back from a problem. And at the end, the very end, Cameron Lawrence takes home the victory, getting by Dylan McCameron on the final lap. For Shea Adam and Michael McDowell, I'm Rick Benjamin. They congratulate three-time winner Cameron Lawrence. We'll see you again soon.